Hi everybody, Andrea Carvin here at Inner Sparks Rehab Gym, and today we're going to be talking about a very relevant topic for many people, self-care for long-term symptoms of COVID. And what are long-term symptoms? If you had COVID and you were able to recuperate at home, and after about 6 to 12 weeks, you're still finding yourself having some problems and symptomatic, those are considered long terms. And that's who I'm going to be speaking to during this conversation. If you had to go in the hospital, it's likely that you were getting the support you needed from therapists and doctors and nurses to know how to guide yourself back to wellness. But there's a group of people, you may be one of them or you may know somebody who aren't getting the benefit of professional services as you moderate back into your life. So I've done a lot of research on this. I've looked at what Yale is talking about, what Harvard, Johns Hopkins, the World Health Organization, the CDC, and compiled it into a very concise couple of things to see that you're doing to make sure that you're keeping yourself on track. I'll have the resources listed at the bottom of this video. So we're going to be focusing mostly on the aspects that you have control over, which is the body and the mind in terms of movement and mindset. Those things, no matter what other, if you need medications, if you need special nutrition, those things you don't have as much control over, but your movement and how you present and think about yourself, that is within your domain. And that's where I'm going to offer some guidance. So you can even ask your healthcare providers if you're saying, hey, I need help with this because I listened to this video and heard that doing these things will help me get stronger. So let's dive in. And the information that I'm speaking about today is for educational purposes only. Any of the exercises or the mindset shifts, if you're having some difficulty, this is designed for you to take to the people who are supporting you to get better. So you have information on how to ask questions and how to try a few things with the help of your healthcare providers. So again, educational purposes to move your healing along. Sometimes you need to have an idea of what to ask or what it looks like so you can ask the important questions and get the help you needed. So research is being done to better understand who is likely to have long-term effects. We do know that some of the long-term effects that people are experiencing include muscle aches and pain, breathing, endurance. And if you've been recovering at home, you may have noticed these symptoms. Some other ones include weakness, fatigue, just not being able to focus, difficulty walking, difficulty with daily activities. So those symptoms are normal if you're developing a long-term progress through this healing process. And it's important to know that if this is lasting longer than you had expected, these types of physical challenges can lead to stress and fear, which also impact your health. And that needs to be addressed as well. So the two aspects, as I said before, we're going to be discussing are healing the body and the mind and what you can do to empower yourself. So let's start with the first aspect, which is movement. And movement is medicine for the body. And movement, there is a prescription for movement. We can't jump from being on bed rest to running a marathon in like 2 days. The body just doesn't work like that. So there's a set of things that you can start to do to invite your body back into moving in a way that is healthy. It's important to understand that your body knows the pace it needs to recuperate. And recuperation is a process really of figuring out your body's balance between the need for rest, nutrition, activity, and movement. And again, understanding that everybody's body is going to be a little bit of different, but there are certain things that are common to most of us. But your healing process is unique to you. Again, I suggested that this is educational purposes, and if you are starting a movement program, make sure to be talking to your doctor. If you have any of these signs before doing the exercise, you really need to talk to your doctor, even if you decide not to exercise. So if fever has come back, if you have shortness of breath while you're resting and not doing a whole lot, any chest pain, any new swelling in your limbs, hands, feet, legs, or like a really sharp pain in a certain part of your arms or legs, aches that are very significant. There's a thing called vasculitis that is known to be accompanying long-term COVID, and one of the ways that shows up is with significant aches and joint pain. If you've had arthritis and joint pain before, it's pretty common that COVID will make those feel a little bit worse, and it does get better. But if there's a vasculitis, that will complicate things. So you want to make sure that if it feels new and different or unrecognizable or more intense, that you talk to your doctor. So let's move on now and start to talk about movement. There are 5 areas of movement that we look at to start to restore and get back to where you were before. The first thing is the breath. The second thing is your inner GPS, or your balance system, which is necessary for sensory input. Everything that you experience in your senses and your body gets filtered through the balance system. So important system that we can work and exercise easily. Your nervous system and how things communicate. When we're on bed rest a long time and we're not moving, sometimes the signals get a little bit wonky, and there's things we can do to improve those. Your strength, like how much tension and how strong your muscles are. We can lose strength very, very quickly. Takes a lot longer to build than it does to lose. So we're going to look at muscle strength, and then endurance, because endurance is different than strength. You can have strength to lift something that, like maybe a gallon of milk, but yet to walk to the grocery store and take that gallon of milk out of the refrigerator and then get it back into your cart and then into your car may not be something you're able to do. So it's these 5 areas we look at balancing and building, and when they're working well, then you're just not even thinking about moving, you're just living your life. So I'm going to give you a few examples. Again, check with your doctor if you want to start, but just to give you an idea of what it looks like. Under each category, there's tons of exercises that can be done, and a professional can sit with you and say, okay, here's where your body's at. Let's start here and then build on that. So the first one is breath. And if you like an example to try this, just start to notice your inhales and your exhales. And you can put your hand, here, let me back up, on your belly. And good normal breathing will have you, if you notice my hand is coming out as I inhale and goes in as I exhale. It's not uncommon with SARS that you start to breathe up here. Okay, because your body's tired and for various reasons. And we want to start to build that deep breath. So it's as simple as making sure the balloon, as you breathe in through your nose, expands in your belly, and when you are breathing out, the air goes out. So imagining an upside down balloon. Breathing in, breathing out. And you can just do that simply for 1 minute. That is exercise. So that's an example of a breath work. The next area is the vestibular system. And again, that's where a lot of our sensory input gets integrated. So your body says, okay, it's safe to go ahead and start moving around in the world. And an easy way to start to move this system is through the eyes. Especially after SARS, there are many things we can do for balance, but we want to keep it really easy, really gentle in those first exercises. So what I recommend is you take a pencil or some kind of point and you keep your head straight and just do eye circles. So you track the tip of the pen in a circle clockwise and then track it counterclockwise. And just do about 2 of those. The key with this, though, is not to move your head when your eyes are moving. If you move your head, then that is not the exercise. So that's an example of a vestibular exercise. It's using your head and your eyes, but for simplicity on this demonstration, I just showed you one we can do for your eyes. Nice, easy, non-threatening way to start. The next one is our nervous system is constantly sending signals crisscrossing in the brain. And we need to make sure our brain is remembering to look in crisscrosses. So you can do something like cross curls, but a real easy one, again, if your legs are tired and it's just not feeling okay to do a cross curl where you're lifting your legs, you can simply put your hands like this, give yourself a hug, crossing your arms gently, and bring your arms down and out. And then again, bring your arms down and out. If you'd like, another progression of that exercise is to bring your arm up and out, and then just reach over and lift the opposite foot or knee, whichever feels most comfortable, and then come out again. So just gentle crisscrosses in the body. Up, out, lift the knee, back and down, and coordinate that with your breathing. So that's some of the crisscrossing that helps our nervous system. The next one is strengthening, next area, and that is helping the body move against gravity. That's really what strengthening is. And when we put more resistance on, like lifting a gallon of milk, we're being strong enough to lift a gallon of milk against gravity. So one of the gentle ways to start is to bring your arms up and out, as if you were going to give someone a big hug and a smile that you hadn't seen in a really long time. And that will give you added energy. It's important to smile when you're doing these things. Hold it for a few seconds because you are against gravity now. And then bring your arms down again. And if you've been really fatigued, anytime we start to lift our arms above shoulder level, you're going to feel it, and that's normal. So that's another example. To figure out how many repetitions you do, how long you do these are things to talk to a therapist about to start to build it back up. If you're doing more than your body can tolerate, you're going to feel exhausted very quickly. So again, the body knows its pace, and it's your job to start to learn how to put those pieces in place, and you can work with professionals if you need it. So the next one is endurance exercise. And the nice way I like to encourage clients I'm working with, especially now in COVID, as we're doing a lot of telehealth, and my clients who are post-COVID I'm seeing via telehealth, is to pace out a course around your home, like 40 feet. So you start at point A, count out a circle of 40 feet, and then start to walk and notice how many laps you're able to do before you get tired or in a certain amount of time. Um, to do activities like brushing your teeth, dressing, getting a drink, you need to be able to tolerate at least 5 minutes of walking around without getting tired to do those activities well, just to give you a benchmark. As you start to increase, we start looking at benchmarks of more like 500 feet to be going outside, to go to a store, even just for a quick drive-through pickup. Usually it's good to be able to walk 500 feet without getting tired. So, and then that is just, again, an idea of, as a person who's looking at self-help and recuperating from movement, the 5 areas that we want to address: breathing, vestibular, nervous system crisscross connection, strength, and endurance. So think about those areas as you're developing your own program. The next thing that is often missed and is so, so important is to understand that it's normal to need more emotional support as you adjust to illnesses. The World Health Organization talks about having feelings of anxiety, fear, stuckness, heaviness that come with noticing, oh my gosh, you know, my body's not working the way I'm used to. This is normal, okay? So if you start to notice these feelings and they start to last and they're not kind of going away, and they seem to be feeling worse and a little more scary rather than getting better as time progresses, that's a sign that you could probably benefit from learning a few ways of adapting, adjusting, and coping with the illness, which will help your energy and will also help your body, because stress and having stress chemicals in your body work against the immune system. They tend to suppress the immune system. So the more we can really keep ourselves in a coping place, because it is stressful to heal from any kind of illness. The key is, are we coping? Is it moving through? If it's moving through and it happens and then it goes away, it's a much different picture from feeling stuck and heavy and overwhelming, and then we don't have the energy to do all these movement things. I find using techniques such as EFT or tapping. EFT is emotional freedom technique, very helpful to help you process through feelings that come up while supporting the mind and the body. EFT is a mind-body technique. You can reach out to therapists in your community and see if they have EFT background. There are apps, the Ortners. I don't get any kind of commission. I just like their stuff. They have a lot out on tapping for coronavirus and healing. So that's another resource. And talk to your doctor, talk to your family, let them know what's happening for you and what you're feeling, and don't suffer in silence. Get help. You know, there's no shame in needing to talk to somebody about your fears, about what's going to happen to my body after this has happened. And the more you can address those things, it's amazing to watch how your energy can start to come back. So thank you for listening. My goal here was a community service to help you get a picture of ways recuperating can look like for long-term symptoms. So you might have some questions you can ask your doctor and put those pieces into place and find the resources that you, or if you're listening for a loved one, that they can do to help get better. If you have any questions, I've got my contact information listed below, and I'm more than happy to answer questions or do a little coaching if that would be of help. So thank you, and stay well, stay healthy, keep masking, get your vaccine, stay socially close but physically distanced. And I look forward to hearing good things. Be well. Bye bye.